Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, it is the day 4 of the Pathankot air base attack. We continue to track all those developments as combing operations are continuing. A fifth militant was killed on Monday. We'll get you all the details on that and much more, but let us begin with the headlines. NIA starts investigation into conspiracy behind the strike at the Pathankot Air Force Base. Operation continues to flush out likely intruders at the air base. Encounter ends in Mazar-e-Sharif, Afghanistan. 4 attackers attempting to storm Indian consulate shot dead. Meanwhile, 30 injured in Taliban attack at Kabul airport. Death toll in Monday's earthquake in northeast reaches 11. 200 people injured in Imphal, Bangladesh and Myanmar. And Sunni-Shia tensions escalate in the Middle East. Sunni allies join Saudi Arabia in cutting off diplomatic ties with Iran. Beginning with a big story, while combing operations are continuing in Pathankot to flush out any likely terrorists remaining in the area. Now, 5 intruders are officially reported killed in the operation to secure the airbase that was attacked on Saturday. A confirmation is still awaited on the death of the 6th terrorist. Search operations are continuing at the Pathankot base. According to PTI, 6 terrorists have been killed so far. Major General Dushyant Singh from the National Security Guard said search operations will continue till all areas are completely secured.
I would like to inform all of you that the operations are still going on. We have been able to eliminate the 5th terrorist. Combing and search operations continue.
7 soldiers have died in the operation, while 22 are injured in the attack that started before dawn on Saturday. Gunfire could still be heard at the base on Monday. It is unclear if any terrorists remained at large, even as Finance Minister Arun Jaitley praised security forces for acting swiftly.
Security forces का जो मूल उद्देश्य था कि किसी प्रकार का भी नुकसान हमारे एसेट्स को, जो एयरफोर्स के स्ट्रैटेजिक एसेट्स वहां पर हैं, उनको ना हो पाए, और इसमें हमारी सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस पूर्ण रूप से सफल रही. मैं उनका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं.
In Pathankot city, thousands of police scanned hotels, markets and forested areas around the base. Security personnel were working at very fast pace to defuse live hand grenades and gather remains of dead militants. The attack put at risk attempts to normalize relations between India and Pakistan. Foreign secretaries of the nuclear-armed neighbours are due to meet for talks on 15th of January. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Well, Sukhjinder Kumar, who's a journalist, is joining us on the phone line. He's tracking all those developments in Pathankot very, very closely. सुखजिंदर, पठानकोट हमले में फिलहाल 5 आतंकवादियों के मारे जाने की खबर है. इस वक्त वहां क्या सिचुएशन है और कब तक ये पुष्टि हो पाएगी कि जो 6ठा आतंकवादी है उसका भी सफाया हो गया है?
जी, पहले के मुकाबले अगर आज की बात करें तो आज जो पठानकोट का माहौल है वो थोड़ा नरम पड़ा है. यहाँ के लोगों ने अपनी दुकानें भी खोली हैं और अभी जो है वो सर्च ऑपरेशन जारी है. ऑपरेशन अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है, ऑपरेशन अभी जारी है और कयास लगाए जा रहे हैं कि आज जो है इस ऑपरेशन को जवानों द्वारा खत्म कर दिया जाएगा. जी
सुखजिंदर, ये भी खबर थी कि एक डेड बॉडी की मिले होने की खबर आई है और ऐसा माना जा रहा है कि ये डेड बॉडी जो 6ठा आतंकवादी है उसकी भी हो सकती है. इसके बारे में आपके पास क्या ताज़ा जानकारी है?
जी, ये सारी खबरें जो हैं अपने अफवाह ही कह सकते हैं हम इसको, क्योंकि इसकी पुष्टि कोई नहीं कर रहा. हालांकि 3 दिन से जो भी अफवाहें आ रही हैं उस बिहार पे जो है काफी लोग यकीन कर रहे हैं, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. आधिकारिक तौर पर पुष्टि कोई नहीं कर रहा. सुनने को काफी सारी बातें आ रही हैं.
सुखजिंदर, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका. So Islamabad is saying now that it is working on the leads that have been provided by India. Now, combing operations are continuing at the moment. What we do know at the moment is 5 terrorists have been killed and there is no official confirmation about the death and the killing of the 6th terrorist. We'll continue tracking all those developments in Pathankot. Meanwhile, the NIA has filed 3 cases to investigate the conspiracy behind the strike at the Indian Air Force base in Pathankot in Punjab. While one is on the killing of taxi driver Ikakar Singh, the second one relates to the terrorist attack that started on Saturday, and the last relates to the abduction of Superintendent of Police Salwant Singh, who has now given his version of the abduction. Let's take a listen.
जब उन्होंने गाड़ी रोकी एकदम ही जो ऐसे एकदम मुझे पता चल गया कि ये टेररिस्ट हैं जिन्होंने जैकेट पहनी हुई थी मिलिट्री की और सार्ट थी उनके पास, वो काफी लेस थे वो इसके पास। हमसे कभी अगर बात आपने जो कुछ बोला किसी को जहाँ कोई ऐसे आपको गोली लगा देंगे, और आप वो उर्दू में भाषा कर रहे थे, बाहर बंद करके मुझे काफी दूर जाके और जहाँ जगह थी उधर उन्होंने फेंक दिया और मेरे को और मेरे वो जो है जो कुक है उसको बांध के कहाँ झाड़ियों में हमें धक्का दे दिया इधर।
And amid the uncertainty over next week's foreign secretary level talks, Pakistan has said that it was working on the leads provided by India on the terror attack in Pathankot. Now extending the deepest condolences to the Indian government and people, a Pakistani Foreign Office statement noted that the terror attack was categorically condemned by the government. It also said that India and Pakistan should remain committed to a sustained dialogue process. The statement, however, did not give details of what kind of leads really have been provided by India. Meanwhile, heart-rending scenes were witnessed as martyrs of the Pathankot terror attack were given the final farewell with the full military honours. Now, hundreds of people gathered to pay their tributes to the brave hearts at their native places. The mortal remains of NSG Commando Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan will be cremated close to a temple owned by the family today. 7 security personnel were martyred in the attack.
The nation paid its tributes to the martyrs of the Pathankot Air Force Base attack on Monday. The martyrs were given a final farewell with full military honours as hundreds of people bid goodbye to the brave hearts. 7 security personnel, including 1 Garud Commando, 1 NSG officer and 5 personnel of the Defence Security Corps were killed in the attack. The last rites of Garud Commando Guru Sevak Singh were performed in his native village of Garnala in Haryana. The 25-year-old who had joined the Indian Air Force about 6 years ago is survived by wife of 2 months.
बस जी उनका तो नेचर जो स्वभाव था वही याद रहेगा जी, और उनकी दिलेरी जो वही याद रहेगी जी। उन्होंने देश के लिए जान अपनी न्यौछावर कर दिया है, सबसे बड़ी बात तो यही है, लेकिन गम यह है कि वो हमसे दूर हो गए हैं।
In Bengaluru, the body of Lieutenant Colonel E.K. Niranjan, a bomb expert with the National Security Guard, was brought for the wreath-laying ceremony. Lieutenant Colonel Kumar was killed while defusing a grenade at the scene of the terror attack. The 32-year-old is survived by his wife and an 18-month-old daughter.
हमारे लिए तो बहुत बड़ा लॉस है, लेकिन खुशी की बात यह है देश के लिए उन्होंने अपनी जान दी है। हमारे से बड़ा लॉस फैमिली के लिए है, इसमें हमारा फर्ज है फैमिली को सपोर्ट करना।
In Gurdaspur, scores of mourners gathered at the house of Subedar Fateh Singh of the Defence Security Corps. Fateh Singh had won a gold and a silver medal during the first Commonwealth Shooting Championship in 1995. 5 of the 7 security personnel killed served in the Defence Security Corps, a unit staffed by veterans. Havaldar Jagdish Chand was killed during the attack, while the 3 DSC personnel, Lance Naik Fulwant Singh from Gurdaspur, Sepoy Sanjeev Kumar and Sepoy Mohit Chand passed away in the hospital during the night. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A news from Afghanistan, where the gun battle between the security forces and terrorists outside the Indian consulate in Mazar-e-Sharif came to an end last night. Now, all the attackers who attempted to storm the mission building were reportedly killed. The operation ended even as the Taliban mounted a suicide attack at the Kabul airport, where 30 people, including many children, were injured. An intense 25-hour gun battle officially ended near the Indian consulate in Mazar-e-Sharif, Afghanistan. 3 attackers were killed by Monday evening, while a 4th was neutralized overnight. The terrorists attacked the consulate at around 9:15 p.m. on Sunday. When could not storm the building, they holed out in a 5-story building about 100 meters across the road. Some reports said an attacker was captured alive, but there was no confirmation.
At 21:15 last night, 3 blasts occurred in front of Indian consulate, Mazar-e-Sharif, and militants started firing. Now, ITP troops returned heavy fire to prevent militants entering into the area.
Elsewhere, the Taliban claimed responsibility for a truck bomb attack at the Kabul airport's compound for civilian contractors. A suicide bomber blew himself up at Camp Baron, a heavily protected residential compound. At least 30 Afghan civilians, including 9 children, were injured.
یه وطن که روز از روزی که بششته یعنی میالته هیچ مردم زندگی خود از زندگی انسانی خانه میفهمه مردم زندگی حق داره انسانیت حق داره چی حالتی هیچ روز سری ملت بیچاره میگه نه که نمیتونی مردار کده میمانی یک.
A police official said a truck packed with explosive drove up to the armored gates of the complex before being detonated. A spokesman for the Taliban, which has often issued exaggerated casualty figures, said dozens of foreigners were killed or wounded. Angry residents targeted the government for its failure to stop such attacks.
تعداد 21 مریض در شفاخانه مجروح و شفاخانه وزیرخان انتقال کردید که از جمله 3 مریض رخصت شد. متباقی تعداد 8 مریض به شفاخانه مربوطه شفاخانه جمهوریت ریفر کردید و فعلا
The Taliban has stepped up its insurgency since foreign forces ended combat operations last year. On Friday, a suicide bomber attacked a French restaurant popular with foreigners and well-off Afghans, killing a 12-year-old boy and a security guard. The attacks coincide with renewed efforts to restart stalled peace talks with the Taliban. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Meanwhile, back home, the death toll due to the earthquake in the northeast went up to 11 with nearly 200 people injured. Now, efforts by rescue teams to reach remote areas were hampered by severed power lines and also telecommunication links. The 6.7 magnitude quake that hit yesterday was 57 kilometers deep and it struck 29 kilometers west of Imphal, which is the capital of Manipur, which borders Myanmar. The police and hospitals in Myanmar said that 100 people were injured, 33 of them seriously. Bangladeshi officials said that 5 people died of heart attacks as they fled buildings. About 90 people were injured there. Shockwaves were also felt in Nepal and as far away as the Myanmar city of Yangon. In Imphal, the quake struck while many people were asleep and roofs and staircases of some buildings collapsed. The Minister of State for Home, Kiran Rijiju, who took an aerial survey of Imphal yesterday, said that the casualties could rise.
जितना बड़ा earthquake था, उतना बड़ा यहाँ पर नुकसान नहीं हुआ, ये एक अच्छी बात है. फिर भी काफ़ी डैमेज तो हुए हैं और हम लोग का एक्सपर्ट जितना भी टीम है, NDRF के और बाकी फोर्सेस के स्टेट के सब लगे हुए हैं और रात भर भी ये लोग जानकारी लेंगे कि और दूर दराज इलाके में कहीं अगर और मरे हैं, कहीं दिक्कतें हैं तो उसका भी जांच लेंगे. हम लोग का सारा फोर्सेस अभी रेडी बैठे हैं.
NDRF and the NDMA came promptly into action. The state administration also was very prompt in cooperating. The Honorable Prime Minister is taking a personal interest and he is following up the entire sequence of events. We have gone around, seen the injured also.
जब भी बड़ा भूकंप आता है उसके बाद आफ्टर शॉक्स आते हैं. ये तो हर एक भूकंप के बाद होता है और इसकी हम उम्मीद कर सकते हैं कि वो आएंगे. लेकिन अधिकतर ये झटके जैसे जैसे समय बीतता जाएगा वो छोटे होते जाएंगे. तो हमारी जो सलाह है लोगों को ये है कि पैनिक ना करें और जो बिल्डिंग्स ऑलरेडी कोलैप्स्ड हैं या डैमेज्ड हैं उससे दूर रहें.
And in the odd-even traffic scheme which is underway to combat vehicular pollution in Delhi, 1,800 people were penalized on Monday, which was the third day of the initiative. The Delhi government also attributed this to a higher number of people returning from extended weekend outside Delhi. However, fewer traffic jams were reported at customary checkpoints. There were also no major traffic bottlenecks in the city. But the extensive checks slowed things down at Delhi's borders. And now let's take you through some important events coming up for the day in the day ahead. The Supreme Court will hear automobile firms' petitions on banning diesel vehicles in the national capital. Automobile manufacturers like Mahindra & Mahindra, Mercedes and Toyota filed the petition in court, seeking notification on its order prohibiting the sales of diesel vehicles with an engine capacity of 2000 cc and above. The apex court has imposed the ban in the wake of alarming air pollution in the national capital. The Patiala House Court will hear the defamation case filed by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley in the DDCA corruption case.
Jaitley filed the case on 21st of December against Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and 5 other leaders of Aam Aadmi Party for dragging his name in the corruption irregularities in the DDCA when Jaitley was heading the Delhi's cricket body. President Pranab Mukherjee is on a 2-day visit to West Bengal. He will inaugurate a new building of Vrida Nagar College at South 24 Parganas on 6th of January. He will also inaugurate the 200th birth anniversary of Pandit Madan Mohan Talkalkar in Nadia the same day. The news at 10. We'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
नाराजगी किसकी तरफ से? आप नाराज हैं या बीजेपी आपको नाराज कर रही है?
हर परिवार में अगर 2-4 बार ऐसी बात होती है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि नाराजगी, अगर तथाकथित नाराजगी हो तो परमानेंट हो जाएगी।
अभी लीडर्स इस समय दर्पण दिखाने का काम कर रहे हैं. You are also showing that दर्पण you are saying, but all these people are getting sidelined in the party.
उफ ना करेंगे, लब सी लेंगे, आंसू पी लेंगे।
Amitabh Bachchan has not acknowledged the kind of help and support which you gave him in the initial years.
हो गई सो हो गई, रात गई, बात गई, बदनाम हुआ, सुभाष गई।
Watch to the point with actor politician Shatrughan Sinha only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Now on to some international news. And Sunni Shia tensions have escalated in the Middle East, with the Sunni allies joining Saudi Arabia seizing diplomatic ties with Iran. While Bahrain and Sudan cut ties with Tehran, the UAE downgraded relations. The latest developments now cast a shadow over efforts to end the wars in Syria and Yemen.
A day after Saudi Arabia severed diplomatic ties with Iran, its closest Sunni allies, Bahrain, Sudan and the UAE followed the lead, severing or downgrading relations with Iran. This as the repercussions continued over the execution of a leading Shia cleric by the Saudi authorities. While Saudi Arabia said trade links with Iran will be cut and air traffic links stopped, it says Iranian pilgrims traveling to holy sites in Mecca and Medina will be allowed to enter. Iran says the developments have impaired regional stability.
We decided to cut off all diplomatic relations with Iran. We will also be cutting off all air traffic to and from Iran. We will be cutting off all commercial relations with Iran, and we will have a travel ban against people traveling to Iran.
تلاش برای تنش آفرینی و درگیری در منطقه مجموعه مشکلات داخلی را هم که داره سعی میکنه از طریق فرافکنی و
On Saturday, in the biggest mass execution in Saudi Arabia since 1980, prominent Shiite cleric Sheikh Nimr al-Nimr was executed. Those 47 executed were convicted of terrorism. While Saudi Arabia defended its judicial process, there are fears that sectarian strife may now spread in the region. The US also fears the growing rupture between the two nations threatens efforts to end the Syrian civil war and stop Islamic State in the Middle East.
The Secretary General also reiterated that the attack on the Saudi embassy in Tehran was deplorable, but added that the announcement of a break in Saudi diplomatic relations with Tehran was deeply worrying.
Julie, we do continue to be concerned about the need for both the Iranians and the Saudis to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East. That we're urging all sides to show some restraint and to not further inflame tensions that are on quite vivid display in the region.
Şu anda yaşanmakta olan, Suudi Arabistan ve İran arasında yaşanmakta olan ve maalesef Orta Doğu'da var olan gerilimlere çok ilave ve sert bir gerilim şeklinde onun içerisine gireceği belli olan bu gerilimden bir an evvel her iki ülkenin çıkmasını isteriz.
Saudi Arabia, the key Sunni power, and Iran, the key Shia power in the Middle East, back opposing sides in Syria and Yemen. Riyadh's execution of Shiite cleric and Iranian recriminations have brought tensions to a new low. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some more international news now in World Wrap. Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif arrived in Sri Lanka on Monday for a 3-day visit. Pakistan and Sri Lanka are expected to sign several agreements to boost bilateral ties, including in the areas of health and to curb terrorism financing. Business MOUs including deep-sea fishing, cement, power, education and food will also be signed. Sharif will hold talks with President Maithripala Sirisena and other officials today. This is Nawaz Sharif's first visit to the island country since 2013. The Nepalese government slapped treason charges against 3 Madheshi activists for holding a mock referendum on the demand for a free Madheshi state. The 3 were arrested from Siraha district in southern Nepal on Saturday and they were brought to Kathmandu, where charges have been filed against them in the special court. The arrest comes in the wake of an intensified action by the government against those propagating for a free Madheshi state. Over 50 people have died in the agitation so far. Yemeni authorities announced a dusk to dawn curfew in the port city of Aden starting on Monday after fierce fighting broke out between the suspected Islamic State militants and government troops, killing at least 12 people, including 9 security personnel. The spokesperson for the Aden local government said that clashes were concentrated around the port's cargo and container terminals. US President Barack Obama said on Monday that he was confident his new executive actions to tighten US gun rules were consistent with the constitutional right to bear arms. Obama also said that he plans to roll out the new restrictions aimed at combating a wave of recent shootings in the coming days. However, the president stressed that the initiatives were not aimed at lawful gun owners. Now to sports now, and the Indian cricket team will leave for Australia today to begin their first overseas series of 2016 for 5 ODIs and 3 T20s. The first ODI will be played in Perth on the 12th of the month, which will be followed by Brisbane on 15th of January, Melbourne on 17th, Canberra on 20th of January and Sydney on 23rd of January. Now 2 warm-up matches are also scheduled to be held on 8th and 9th of January. BCCI has picked 2 separate teams of 15 members each for the tour, with MS Dhoni retaining his position as the skipper for both the one-dayers and the T20s. While Yuvraj Singh and Ashish Nehra have made a comeback in the T20 team, all-rounder Stuart Binney has been dropped. On Monday, Australia also named a 13-man squad for the upcoming series. Shane Watson was left out from the team. More cricket news, and the Supreme Court appointed Justice R.M. Lodha committee has suggested sweeping changes in the cricket administration in India. Now, most significant of the recommendations is to bring the Board of Control for Cricket in India under the Right to Information Act, legalizing betting and forming a Players Association, and also delinking the IPL from the BCCI.
The sweeping changes recommended in the Board of Control for Cricket in India are on expected lines, but they will still come as a jolt for many in the board's power corridors. Announcing the recommendations, the panel dictated that ministers and government officials be barred from holding office in the board, which will have only 1 full-time member per state with voting rights. The others will be affiliate units.
He must not be a minister or a government servant who has not held the office in the BCCI for a cumulative period of 9 years.
The panel also suggested an eligibility criteria for BCCI office bearers, including the President, Secretary, Vice Presidents and Treasurer. It further proposed a tenure of 3 years for each office bearer.
Each office bearer will have tenure of 3 years, and no office bearer can hold the office for more than 3 terms.
The committee, which submitted its report to the Supreme Court and also made it public, has called for various far-reaching changes. Some of the key highlights of the proposal are: no more zonal nomination for the president's post, restricting the total tenure of office bearers in any capacity to 2 terms not exceeding 6 years, tenure of the president to be not longer than 3 years, only appoint ex-cricketers in state associations and implement proper stadium rotation policy. Selection committee to comprise only of former Test cricketers, with the player with most caps heading the committee. Protection of players' interests by registering agents under the prescribed norms of BCCI and Players Association. BCCI to also share details of rules and regulations, norms, meetings, expenditures, balance sheets, reports and orders of authorities on its website. Recommendation to legalize betting except for those covered by this BCCI and IPL regulations. Also, spot fixing be made a criminal offence. The panel further suggested bringing the BCCI under the RTI Act, an issue that has long been a bone of contention.
Very happy that Justice Lodha has come out with recommendations which we wanted to be implemented through the sports bill. The best thing is, in order to bring in transparency, it has talked about bringing BCCI under the RTI. And other good things are like the players should be given more importance. It has talked about the players committee with some powers also to deal with the administration of BCCI.
The committee, however, cleared the former IPL COO Sundaraman of any wrongdoing, citing lack of evidence. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And more sporting action now in Sports Beat. Real Madrid appointed former player Zinedine Zidane as the new coach after sacking coach Rafael Benitez after less than half a season in charge. Club president Florentino Perez announced the decision a day after Madrid's 2-2 draw at Valencia. Now, Benitez had a contract till June 2018. Rio de Janeiro Stadium, that will host athletics at the 2016 Olympic Games, has been without water and electricity over the past 1 week due to unpaid bills. According to reports, the stadium owes some $225,000 in outstanding utility bills. Head coach of the Pakistan cricket team, Waqar Younis, says the absence of Yasir Shah will hurt the team after the spinner was suspended for a doping offence. Leg spinner Shah has been provisionally banned after testing positive for a banned substance by the ICC. Meanwhile, Younis bagged Mohammad Amir and said that he deserves a second chance to show his talent and skills again. He also said that Amir has served his punishment. Well, that's all in this edition of news, but news and updates continue on your channel. Keep watching Rajya Sabha TV.